Welcome to Decide, the University of Auckland Business Decision Making Lab. Now you will hear and see some information that will help you understand your role in the experimental option you agreed to participate on. You're about to participate in an experiment in the economics of market decision making in which you will earn money based on the decisions you make. Any money you earn is yours to keep and will be paid in cash at the end of the experiment. All units of account will be in experimental currency, $. Upon conclusion of the experiment, your earnings will be converted into New Zealand dollars at an exchange rate displayed on the info page of your computer screen. These earnings plus the show-up payment will be paid to you in private at the end of the experiment. The experiment consists of a series of independent periods in which you have the opportunity to acquire via an auction one or more items which will be referred to as blocks. There are 2 blocks available for sale in each period. Blocks are sold with either an A or a B characteristic. An A characteristic designates full private ownership of the block in question. In contrast, a B characteristic designates common ownership, in which the rights to use the corresponding block are shared with other parties. At the beginning of each period, you will be assigned a value in $. That you place on each block depending on which characteristics, that is, A or B, the block is assigned. In addition, you will be assigned a financial budget representing the total funds to you for biddings in that period. For illustrative purposes, assume that at the beginning of the period, you are assigned the set of block values and the financial budget shown in Figure 1. Each participant's assigned block values and financial budget will generally differ across periods. The competitive bidding process. In each period, you have the opportunity to bid for different blocks with different characteristics. Figure 2 illustrates your user interface that you will use to participate in the auction. As shown, there are 2 blocks available for purchase, that is, number 1 and number 2. At the conclusion of the auction, each block will be awarded to a particular bidder or set of bidders with either an A or B characteristic. Bidding occurs under an ascending price auction format. The current price for any block, regardless of the characteristic, appears on the green box. As shown, each block and its associated characteristic has its own Place Bid button. You are submitting a bid for a particular block when the block's Place Bid button is activated. Because each participant is assumed to place a bid for all blocks when the price for each block is 0, by default all Place Bid buttons are activated at a 0 price. If the Place Bid button for any block and any characteristic is active at the end of the bidding round, the price shown in the green box increases by a predetermined amount. At that point, you must decide whether or not you wish to continue bidding for that block at the new higher price. If you decide not to bid, then you must signal that you wish to refrain from placing a bid for a given block and its associated characteristics by simply pressing the Place button associated with that block. Once you decide to refrain from bidding on a particular block, you are prevented from bidding on that block for the remainder of the auction. Figure 3 below reflects your decision to refrain from placing a bid for block number 1. Characteristic B, when the price of the block reached E $50. To assist you in remembering the highest bid you placed in the auction for a block and its associated characteristic, the activated Place Bid button will display the highest bid you place on the block following the next increase in price. For example, in Figure 4, following an increase in the block price from $50 to $100, the activated bid button for block number 1, characteristic B, shows that your highest bid for that block is $50. The price in the green box will cease rising and the auction will close when there are no remaining active bidders for any block. At the close of the auction, you will be told whether you have won one or more blocks, the characteristics of those blocks, and your earnings, if any. Note, you will incur a loss if the price you pay for your acquired block exceeds the value you place on that block. A loss incurred in a given auction will be deducted from your total earnings following the completion of the experiment. Bid types. A bid for a block associated with an A characteristic is referred to as an A-type bid, while a bid for a block associated with a B characteristic is referred to as a B-type bid. Given the common ownership of a block that is assigned a B characteristic, the total bid for each block with a B characteristic is equal to the sum of all B-type bids placed for that block. After the close of the auction, the auctioneer will compare the highest A bid for each block with the highest B bid for each block and will accept the highest bid for each block. Winning bids. Based upon the submitted bids, the auctioneer defines the market clearing price, which is equal to the highest overall price, including both A-type and B-type bids, for each block that was not accepted. Participant payments and earnings. Participants whose bids are accepted will receive their value in experimental currency, that is $, for each block minus the price that they pay for the block, which is determined as follows. The price paid by participants whose acquired blocks are assigned an A characteristic is simple. It is calculated as the market clearing price for that block. Things are more complicated for winning bidders whose blocks are assigned a B characteristic. In this case, the price that each winning B-type participant pays for a block is equal to the proportion of their contribution, their own bid, to the winning aggregate bid times the market clearing price. If the sum of the B-type bids for a particular block represents the winning bid for that block, then all participants in the auction will receive their value for that block with a B characteristic minus their price as computed above. In the event of a tie for the highest bid, each of the winning bidders will receive the expected value of their earnings based on a random selection of the winning bid. Please don't hesitate to ask us for further clarification if any part of this video was not clear enough. Thank you.